Hello folks, this is Alan and I'm back with another movie review for you. And today I'm going to be reviewing the Russian sci-fi classic from 1972, Solaris, directed by the late great Russian filmmaker Andrei Tarkovsky. You may also know that this movie spawned a remake in 2002 starring George Clooney, but this is the 1972 film version. And the plot of Solaris, I'm just going to read it from the back of the DVD. Ground Control has been receiving bizarre transmissions from the 3 remaining residents of the Solaris space station. When cosmonaut and psychologist Chris Kelvin is sent to investigate, he too experiences the strange phenomena afflicting the Solaris crew, sending him on a voyage into the darkest recesses of his own consciousness. In Solaris, legendary Russian filmmaker Andrei Tarkovsky creates a brilliantly original science fiction epic that challenges our preconceived notions of love, truth, and humanity itself. And that's the basic gist of Solaris. Okay, Solaris. Well, this is not an easy movie to review, but I will give it my best shot. Solaris is often referred to as the Russian 2001: A Space Odyssey, which is very interesting to note because Russian filmmaker Andrei Tarkovsky, one of the reasons why he made Solaris is because he saw Stanley Kubrick's sci-fi classic film, 2001: A Space Odyssey, and Tarkovsky didn't like it. He didn't like 2001. He just thought it was a bad movie, and he thought that he could make a film that was even better than 2001: A Space Odyssey. He thought he could make the sci-fi movie that would act as the anti-2001. But in fact, what Andrei Tarkovsky wound up making is a movie that is often referred to simply as the Russian 2001. Like Stanley Kubrick's sci-fi classic, Solaris takes its dear sweet time to tell its story. This is a very, very long movie, folks. This movie clocks in at 2 hours and 45 minutes, so it's pushing towards 3 hours. It takes its time. It's not an action-packed sci-fi movie. It's not a shoot-'em-upper. There's no space battles or laser gun battles. This is basically sci-fi for the mind, very much like 2001: A Space Odyssey, and only this time it's done in the Russian style. And overall, I think Solaris is a very good, very powerful movie. I do think if you absolutely have to compare Solaris to 2001: A Space Odyssey, I mean, in my opinion, 2001 wins every time. 2001 is a masterpiece. 2001 is a total brilliant work of art, and I give that movie a perfect 4 out of 4 stars. Solaris, I don't think reaches the heights of 2001: A Space Odyssey, but it's still overall a very good movie, even though it's arguably a very boring, very good sci-fi movie, but nonetheless, it's not without its power and its beauty and its entertainment value. It's still a very good sci-fi movie, and it's a sci-fi classic in its own right for sure. Doesn't quite measure up to 2001 in my opinion, but it's still very good if you can sit through it. Okay. The fact of the matter is that it turns out that the Solaris space station is a planet completely of ocean water, but not only that, the discovery is made that the ocean water is sentient, that the ocean water of Solaris actually has a brain of some sort. It has some sort of intelligence, and it also has the ability to recreate physical copies of people from the Solaris space station's crew's memories. And one of the big things in the Solaris film is that Chris Kelvin here, the cosmonaut who comes on board the Solaris station to investigate, the Solaris planet gives him a recreation, a living, breathing recreation of his dead wife, Hari, who committed suicide 10 years ago. And so it makes Chris Kelvin have to face certain issues about his past regarding his late wife, and he's romancing a woman who's not really his wife. She looks like his wife, she talks like his wife, she also has suicidal thoughts like his wife, but she's not his wife. So there's that whole thing going on. And also the 2 surviving scientists that Kelvin comes across on the space station. One scientist has physical recreations of midgets, that come to him, even though we actually only see one midget in the movie. I mean, midgets, really? I mean, does this particular scientist have a midget fetish that we don't know about? The movie never explains that. And then we see in the room of the other scientist. It appears to be a woman, but we only get like a quick glimpse of her. So that's another very interesting thing about Solaris is that the ocean planet is sentient and can make physical reincarnated copies of people from the space station's crew's past. So that's very intriguing. I also really enjoyed the design of the space station itself, the Solaris space station. It's basically an old beat up space station, a rundown space station, according to I guess to the liner notes on the inside of the Solaris DVD. Andrei Tarkovsky wanted the space station to look like a space station version of a broken down bus, and I think that's pretty much. I think he pretty much succeeded, and to have all this broken down circuitry, it looks like it's all like in machinery that's in red and silver all over the place. Actually, it looks pretty darn impressive. I have to admit, I did enjoy the space station set very, very much in this movie. I also think that the occasional images that we get of the ocean swirling around on the planet Solaris is quite good. Again, it does remind me every so often of the Stargate sequence in 2001: A Space Odyssey. Very powerful imagery there with the various shots of the ocean swirling around on the planet Solaris. There's also a very long bit at the beginning of the film, because actually I have to admit that the movie starts off, the first 43 minutes of the movie take place on Earth before cosmonaut Kelvin finally gets on board the space station. But we get this long 5-minute sequence of an older astronaut named Burton who's riding in a car through the streets of Tokyo, and he's going through tunnels, he's going through the freeway, and Andrei Tarkovsky basically just leaves the camera on for like 5 minutes as we're going through this freeway. And I think that was Andrei Tarkovsky trying to do his own version of say, the Stargate sequence from 2001: A Space Odyssey. We get this long trip on the freeway, which goes on for about 5 minutes, and the first thing that came to mind when I saw that sequence for the first time was, Tarkovsky, he's trying to recreate the Stargate sequence in 2001, only this time he's setting it on Earth. That's the impression that I got. I think the acting in the film is wonderful. It's a little bit difficult to name everybody in the cast because these are all Russian actors, but I will say that the main four actors in the cast are very, very good. Basically, I really like very much. Let's see, what their names. I mean, I'll give it a shot here. Donatas Banionis as Chris Kelvin. He's quite good. Very good performance from him. The absolutely lovely, gorgeous, very, very talented Natalia Bondarchuk as Hottie, Chris Kelvin's late wife. She's beautiful, very, very talented actress, very, very powerful performance from her. She's got great, great acting chops, and like I said, she's also very, very easy on the eyes too, I have to admit. Natalia Bondarchuk, she's wonderful. And I think the other two actors that I will mention is Juri Jarvit as, I guess, Professor Snout, and also... Hold on, and Natalie Solenitsyn. And Natalie Solenitsyn as Dr. Sartorius. These are the two surviving scientists on board the Solaris station. This is a very, very slow-moving sci-fi movie, I'll admit, and that's the only main criticism that I have of Solaris, is that it's really, really slow. And sometimes when the actors are talking to each other, there's a lot of long pauses. Sometimes you feel like, when you're watching Solaris, that you're basically watching a Harold Pinter play set in outer space. Really, really long pauses. But maybe that was the idea because, everybody on board the Solaris space station is being affected in the mind, and they're all, suffering some mental stuff going on, and so maybe that was the point that Tarkovsky was trying to make, that their communication skills are severely lacking on board the Solaris space station because of the phenomena that's happening with the planet Solaris and making these physical copies of people from the crew's memories. So Solaris is definitely not for everybody. People said 2001: A Space Odyssey is difficult to sit through. Try sitting through Solaris. It's not for everybody, but if you can stick with it, you will find that it's still a very fascinating movie with great moments of beauty and power. Even if it does run very, very long, I don't think Solaris needed to be nearly 3 hours long. But overall, all things considered, Andrei Tarkovsky still came up with a very powerful, very beautiful, very thought-provoking sci-fi film. And I will admit, the very last shot in this movie, wow, it's quite a memorable final shot in a movie, let me tell you. So all things considered, yes, I like Solaris. It's definitely not a movie for everybody. Not everybody will have the patience to sit through it. Again, it clocks in at nearly 3 hours, and in my opinion, the movie did not need to be nearly 3 hours long. But all things considered, I think Andrei Tarkovsky still came up with a very good sci-fi film. And overall, yeah, I like it. I like it very, very much. It's a very unique sci-fi movie. 2001, it ain't, but Andrei Tarkovsky, I thought, made a very good attempt to come up with something that was along the lines of 2001, and basing it on the old Stanislaw Lem novel, he came up with a very intriguing, very fascinating, and at times very, very beautiful, very, very haunting sci-fi movie. It's not a perfect film, and it is a little too long in its running time, but I'm going to give Solaris 3 out of 4 stars. A very solid 3 out of 4 stars. Very, very good film, all things considered. A very fascinating sci-fi film, Solaris. So, I like it. All right, and that's my review of Solaris, the 1972 film version. So there you go, folks. That's my review of Solaris, and I will be back next time with another film review in the near future. This is Alan. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe down below, and I'll see you then.